Taxes, inflation, and the breakdown of the family are causing us to fall behind. We have the lowest net worth in the United States, and I'm sure those numbers cross the border as well.
Some people get the disability tax credit and they don't open the registered disability savings plan, and that's where the government puts in all the money of grants and bonds for a person with a disability who has done all the steps. Some people don't do all the steps.
Good morning. What is up? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of it. I thought Brian's doing. I wanted to do one of these, so you just do this, and you're so casual. What about this? And what about that? It's so good.
It's some music playing in the background.
There you go. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2020 Best. No, you know what? 2018 Innovation Award. I'm getting this. 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast and News Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And I guess maybe on Friday, I will put it out there. We are holding our first virtual fatherhood summit at the end of this month. So we've been doing conversations. One of the people we had conversations with is Wayne Harris.
Nice.
So he's part of the sharing that's going on. And as always, I like to say, you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Good morning, Ryan Knight. And it's funny, Ryan and I would just catch up and go, oh, we got to get started.
On here.
We almost started really late today. But what's going on, bro? What's going on?
Always good to see you. And for those that may have forgotten who I am over the weekend, because it hasn't been long, I was here Friday.
Yes, you were here on Friday. Yes.
Co-founders of the Afro Caribbean Business Network. So we support entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage the business is in, then help them create a strategy to grow their companies exponentially. And I am an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights, which has some exciting news coming out soon. So I'm going to share that with you so that we can announce it on Friday. But we do mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to people's houses or their offices, clean their cars on the spot without using water, and our plant-based eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And we just wrapped up our youth entrepreneurship program. So shout out to the students from as west as Brampton to as east as Scarborough.
Yay!
Joining in and testing out if the entrepreneurship is for them. So it was great to see the growth over the summer. Some that started out shy now are a bit more confident, but looking forward to next season as well.
Wonderful. Great news to hear. And Artie in the house. Good morning, JJ Mars from Colorado. Can you push some of that Colorado heat back up to Toronto where we're a little bit cool?
Fall is crept in.
I guess it's a temporary thing, but was it Saturday night? It got down to 8 degrees Celsius in Toronto, which is about a little under 50 degrees overnight. And I was chatting with some people yesterday. They said, man, I turned on my furnace last night. I go, whoa.
Yeah, the shift, man. That chill breeze, just even when the sun is out, you can feel the breeze. So fall is creeping around.
Cool. What's been going on in your world?
A couple exciting events happened over the weekend. So on the Thursday, Friday of last week, there was the All Black Market. So we were able to be part of the, the panel about strategic partnerships Friday afternoon, evening. So they had a good trade show and then the panel. So interesting conversations. One announcement, actually two interesting announcements. So one was from BDC that they've launched their $250 million inclusive investment fund. So it's a combination of equity investments. I think it's 50 million or 100 million to equity investments and 50 million to debt financing. So it's similar to what BDC does, but they have a $50 million pocket of money to now invest into the inclusive community, which includes the Black community, Indigenous, I believe women was what Fatia said. So the other interesting announcement was Isaac Olawalafe was on the panel, and he's from Dream Realty, Dream Legacy Foundation, and they announced they're launching the Dream Center of Innovation close to the airport. So it's I think 6 or 7 story building, 100,000 square feet. They're pretty much finalizing it. So he said it in open. So I think it's ready to let people know.
But it hasn't been built yet, right?
The building is built. Yes.
Oh, is that the same? Is it a separate building than the hotel, or they're doing it?
No, a different one.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one, I'll send you the picture of it.
Yeah,
because
that'd be great.
Anything is open. Just
if Isaac could grace us with his time, we'd love to have him come on.
Yeah, I'll send a note to him and see.
See if he'd like to announce it. But go on. Okay.
And the weekend, so Saturday was the Toronto Business Summit, usually put on by Matrix Cares and Matrix Mortgage. So Sean Allen and Craig slowly, that team puts together the annual Toronto Business Summit. So that's at U of T Scarborough campus. So
I knew nothing about these things.
That one, because usually I feel like their marketing was more intense last year. This year it seemed to, I didn't see a lot of like Instagram posts about it, but yeah, that was happening. So great trade show, really great panels. And
so you were at that?
Yeah, so I brought Jasmine. We kind of walked through to see the different vendors and catch some of the what's it called, the presentations. But yeah, it was a packed weekend, and Sunday was more low key. We went to the library to check out the new maker space that the library has, so you can go in, do sewing projects, embroidery projects, 3D printing. What was it, like wood engraving on wood and stuff? All free. You just have to bring your own materials, and that's at the McLean Community Center in Ajax. So if anybody's on the Durham side, definitely check out that maker space.
Okay. So JJ Mar says, I'll see what I can do. It's still hot here. So any way you can push it northeast, do what you can. Good morning, Wayne Harris. How was the weekend? Well, Ryan's telling you about his, so good to have you here. Yes. And thanks again for contributing to the Fatherhood Summit. Appreciate it, not taken for granted. Opal Inspired is here.
Yeah.
Follow her on YouTube. She did another post recently and encouraging people to follow her on Instagram. Frequency event promotions. Good morning to you also. And he also says, great seeing you, Ryan.
Yes, both on Friday and Saturday. So good seeing you, Christopher.
So here's interesting. I knew nothing about these things. And you know what? I've got to the point where I used to get disappointed, but you know what? I just move on because I guess
remember, this is a missed opportunity for them not having certain media outlets on their vendor list. So I would send a note and be like, hey, I heard.
Yeah, thank you. Event. If you could, just send them a note. Just leave it at that. Because here's an interesting situation. Last week, I actually had Kamal Khera, who's the Minister of Inclusion and Diversity for Canada on. Right? Now, she said, you are the only. Now, we have somewhat of a good relationship. When I send out things to her, they respond.
Right.
Like I sent something out last week, Saturday. By Monday, it was confirmed. And she said, you were the only Black media outlet to approach us. So wow. Yes, I did some of my own because I know there are people who are upset, but other people, I don't even know. There needs to be, I guess, it's a larger conversation. And actually one of the conversations that I had over the weekend was with a Black professional who's been doing psychotherapy for a long, and we had a long conversation. And at the end of it, both of us agreed we're very disappointed.
Okay. Disappointed.
Just most things. It's ridiculous. It's getting to ridiculous. And he came up with a very interesting theory. He said, for African Canadians to move forward, he says we need to align with the Indigenous community.
Okay.
Because you notice the Indigenous community gets what they want.
Right. Well, when he says align with, or is it
get alliance, collaborate with?
Yeah. Okay.
So when we go to the table, we have their voice too.
Okay.
Because he said that stuff on our own, that's a crickets. I don't know if we're moving forward. So it was a very interesting conversation.
Because one thing I take out of what the Indigenous community does is more around how they organize. I would say we need to take a lot of guidance from how they organize and be more strategic. Like, I feel we're still very sporadic, but this is where I'm hoping stuff like oh my gosh, what is it? The Center for NEPAD, National Institute for People of African Descent. They just announced they got $7.5 million. So
yeah, that's why Minister Kara came on to talk about it. But
right.
Again, I have a concern there because it's going to be a number of organizations, I'm going to say, attempting to work together.
Well, they got this far. I would say and it's happened a couple times. So
well, it's one thing when there's no money, but it's a different thing when there is money.
Well, this is going to be one of the things I'm watching as the Black Entrepreneurship Program comes to an end in December. All these organizations that got funded and came together for the ecosystem when there was money, but when that money runs out, will the ecosystem continue? So I am optimistic to see that we will still be able to leverage the work that we've done together and to keep it long term. I'm just hoping not too many of them, go away because the money ran out. I'm hoping I'm not a lot close their doors just because that one thing goes away. But we shall see. Yes.
Oh, Frequency for Promotion says, watch the conversation with Dr. View. Who's Dr. View? The View's another show that's on ABC, by the way. But that show's pretty incredible. That's been going on for almost 30 years now. The View.
Wow.
Outside of sports, the only thing I know my dad makes a commitment to watching, he watches The View every Monday to Friday. I don't call him between 11 and 12.
Gotcha.
I know he's not gonna, unless it's an absolute emergency. I don't call him between. That is his go-to.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there'll be good conversations there.
That is a go-to. So let's do some things before we bring up our friend. As usual, as always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button so we can get to 1,600 subscribers. Follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. To advertise your business, product, or service on the show or any of the shows I'm a part of, please email me dr.vibe@thedrbeshow.com and join our Discord group at dr.vibe@thedrbeshow.com. Actually, Minnie, our monthly visitor on Fridays in regards to giving some lenses through the world of this in the world of disability, she is now part of our Morning Vibe group on Discord. Nice. And also make sure Indie Soup Media. What did Dr. Tachi tell me on Saturday night? Because she was on primetime Saturday. I think they now have 18,000 subscribers. 18,000 subscribers they have now on the platform. And a lot of the conversations that we have are rebroadcast 1-hour versions on that platform. So support independent content creators network. And what we do is most of the stuff she does season by season, and she's at the end of season 2, so she's doing replay, but our stuff is still current stuff.
Gotcha. Nice.
That's going on the platform. So that's going on. And then, what's tomorrow night, Ryan?
The alleged debate happening so far. It is on.
Okay, why do you keep on saying alleged?
Because until they're both on stage and their mouths move and words come out, I will not believe. I don't know. Trump, it seems like he's on the ropes. What did Hillary Clinton say? We've got him on the run.
No, I don't think so.
He wouldn't miss a marketing opportunity like this. This is prime time. He'd look like a serious chicken if he doesn't show up.
So for those who don't know, again, tomorrow night, wherever you're watching this, I'm sure Ron's going to broadcast it on his YouTube channel. And we're doing a watch party during tomorrow night's debate between Kamala Harris and 45, starting in and around 9 p.m. I was chatting yesterday with Cesar Nadima Musa, who's going to be part of the panel. He said, you know what? We should probably start a little bit before 9 o'clock just to get everyone introduced. So I'm going to send a message out to everybody that we go on about 8:45. And the scheduled guests include, at the top, to my left, to right, Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lala Q, who are regulars on primetime Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Saturdays. Jill Jones, who is coming back. And for those people who don't know Jill Jones, have you ever heard of an artist named Prince? Maybe. Yeah, right. Jill Jones was part of Prince's entourage for 10 years and also had a part in the infamous movie Purple Rain. You know, and I keep on doing this to Dr. Chachi, so I got to give Dr. Chachi respect. Let's not cover face. There we go. Let's not cover face. And Dr. Chachi, the show, also runs Indie Soup Media, who is an accredited journalist. So is Aisha K. Staggers, and also she is the power behind Indie Soup Media. Those are African-American queens at the top. At the bottom, Wayne Harris, Ryan Oneil Knight, and Cesar Nadima Musa, African kings from Canada. So we have a North American watch party live about the debate. So we got kings, North American, African kings and queens taking part in the watch party tomorrow night. So Ryan, what are you looking forward to in this in regards to the day? Any thoughts before we jump to break that you're thinking or wanting to see happen?
I always like to watch after Trump talks how his, I guess you would call them pundits, defend everything that he says. So I'm very curious to see what comes out of his mouth, and then how his team, when they're interviewed, and especially JD Vance always has to play their janitor, pretty much like cleaning up what he said. So how they spin anything that comes out of his mouth. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what approach Trump takes to attack Kamala. He must have come up with something. So I'm going to see either what the nickname is or what of her past he's going to use to start digging at her. So we'll see.
Well, it's really interesting that this is happening, and well, we still got countdown that it's not, and we're going to just see how of the approach goes. Let me ask you, who do you think has more to lose during this debate?
If Kamala does not show that she can handle him, she would have a lot to lose. Because if he's able to get under her skin by whatever he comes up with, and she's like, you know, like when you're not confident and you're hesitant and you're not really able to keep up with him interrupting, that would show that she's not ready. So she would have a lot to lose there. Trump, he has this steady drumbeat of his people. He could go up there and implode, and I think his base will vote for him still and just say that somebody sabotaged the audio or sabotaged the video or sabotaged his brain, like whatever they come up with to defend him. But then if he doesn't do well, he's going to lose, I feel, those swing independent people.
Well, I think he has to see how he can get those people who are independents that are leaning Ms. Harris's way on him, because her base has more to grow. He's right now, he needs to expand his base.
Yeah.
And the question is, how is he going to do it?
And that's the thing. But it doesn't really seem like they're trying to entice anybody outside their base. Like their messaging is just the same, except for trying to say that she's incompetent, which is very difficult to prove because
compared
her track record
is convicted
compared to him. Exactly.
Like, oh my gosh. So let's see. Frequency event promotion at Surround. Can you send me a pic of the event center? Would like to host events at some Black-owned business. And Ryan has said construction is still finishing up. We'll send soon. Good. And Frequency event promotion says congratulations to Indie Soup Media with YouTube channel. 18,000 subscribers. Great followership. Serena Wills is in the house. You must be listening before we came on live. I saw that Serena Wills is going to be on in a few weeks' time because September is ovarian cancer month. So she's going to be on the Morning Vibe talking about ovarian cancer. And Serena Wills says, oh, she's going to handle him. I don't know, because like I said, not being able to, well, people are so in and out about fact checking. in regards to the debate. Some people saying, and look who jumps in also. Dr. Tachi is here. So the family's in the house. And yes, she says she'll be on next Friday talking about ovarian cancer. So look, wherever you follow me, look for the post coming up in the next day or two to book it. Go ahead. One last thing. Go to break.
Kamala's team, Miss Harris's team, must know which key lies Donald Trump always says. So she should be the fact checker. If she comes out and says, as soon as he picks one of those lies and she has the rebuttal to it, he's going to be floundering. So that's where, if she just lets him lie and hasn't prepared to then rebut it and be the fact checker, they don't need like a third party fact checker.
Yeah, I think that's what I read in articles, and that this is allegedly that they're gonna just let him talk and just let him let him do what he does, right? Yeah. Let him do what he does. All right. And Serena will says, Dr. Tacha, hey, Serena Wills, hey, sis. All right. So this is tomorrow night. You know where to be, 9 p.m. And I'm going to be interested to see what the viewership numbers of that is. That should be really interesting. But make sure you view here first. Just to be.
Yeah, Pop's baby, we'll watch it together. Yes.
We'll watch it together. All right, family. We're going to get back in about 30 seconds, and we're going to bring Carolyn Nichol up. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. Join Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lala Key as they cut through the chaos and make some sense of the nonsense in American news and politics.
People are expecting Obama-level eloquence out of a man who's always talked like this.
Sharp insights, bold opinions, and a touch of humor. It's the show that keeps you informed and entertained.
There's no way that Trump is going to debate her.
Don't miss Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. Tune in and stay ahead of the headlines. Well, Lala said there's no way. So I spoke to her up to Saturday. She goes, I ain't convinced yet. Right. All right, let's do one last thing. Serena Will says, when he starts floundering, let him. Okay. Exactly. Well, it is the first. It's the second. It's actually the second Monday of the month, because last.
Oh, true, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
It was a holiday, right?
Yeah, I'm just losing track of time. Whatever. But you know what time it is? It's Carolyn Nichol time, and let's forget about politics and let's focus on us and our bodies. That's more important. So that's why she is here. Energy Shot Juice Bar, star of the world of nutrition. Carolyn Nichol.
Yes.
What's up?
I don't know about star of the world, but definitely loving the whole health message. And you guys are great listening to you. Lots of good things. Ryan, you're back.
Yes. Missed you for a bit.
But you know what? Dr. Vibe, he's been doing awesome. He's coming with questions.
Yes. Nice. Put the pressure on. I love it.
Oh my gosh. So what's been going on in Energy Juice Shack world? It is September. Are people finally saying, I got to correct my summer?
Yeah, 100%. Always. Like you just see that last 2 weeks of August, everyone's getting back from vacation and it's just off the hook. Detox, need to do program. So we've gone from quiet to super busy. Always happens. People are just not happy. They didn't hear our podcast of how they should behave on their vacation.
True. Yes.
In the summer. We did that a few months ago.
Yeah.
And they did not listen.
Did I see the expos happening again too?
Oh, we go. Okay, let's talk about that.
Things. Awesome. Yeah, actually, as I was listening to you guys, I'm like, wow, you were saying that you took your kids to the library. Well, we have like a Healthy Home Expo happening on October 20th, where we're expecting hundreds of families, and it's so cool. So one side of the Civic Center that we've rented out is going to be 4 rotations. One rotation, we're going to teach the kids how to knit and crochet. Another, they're going to 40 minutes at each center. Then they're going to come in the kitchen. We're going to teach them how to make their own breakfast and lunch.
Nice.
Then they're going to rotate They're going to go in the parking lot, and we have an auto mechanic there showing the kids how to change a tire and check their oil.
I love it. Yes.
And then they go to another center making night before checklists, how to like be prepared for the morning of school. So accountable, responsible, like, you know, check the weather, pick out your clothes. Did you get your homework done? Did you sign your agenda? So getting them to be more organized. So that's for like the 9 to 14-year-olds. And then the 15 to 29-year-olds, we have Stacy Thomas. She comes to us from Wealth Management. She is going to teach financial fitness and literacy. So she's going to teach the young people how to make a budget, how to like plan for their future investments. And then we have Jason Malongo. He is a Black entrepreneur. He runs a whole business on how to help. You guys should connect. Mm-hmm. He's very successful digital marketing company, and he helps entrepreneurs. And he's going to come and teach the young people entrepreneurial skills, little bit of digital marketing tips, and healthy lunch, completely plant-based for everybody. I'm going to show you how to transform picky eaters. So if anybody's listening and you want us to promote your business at this event, we're expecting about 400 people. We are still looking for sponsors. You can sponsor one booth for like, you know, $500 or $800, or you can sponsor the whole show if you want to. But yeah, it's going to be great. And tickets are only $5.
Nice.
$5. And all the supplies are given to you. We're going to give you the wool for the knitting, everything, all the food. You don't have to bring anything. Kids 12 and under are free. Lunch for kids 12 and under is free. We just really want people to come. So you can go on Eventbrite right now and get your tickets.
I guess the youth stations, what time of the day would that be starting?
So it's from 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. It's a full day.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, okay. And we have some hand-picked vendors that kind of fall in the line of healthy home. And so there'll be a few vendor booths there, but really this is like a full-fledged community event.
Awesome.
Where did the idea come to do this?
That's a good question. So, you know, myself and my sister, you know, we have always been very practical with our kids. And when they were young, we were trying to teach them how to knit, how to sew. You know, it was very important for our kids to learn how to like change a tire. And like they were 3-year-olds on stools in the kitchen, like you are going to learn how to make your own breakfast. Like, you know, that was always a thing. So as we've started to have this audience, it's just always been a burden of ours to, as we're watching kids losing their like the knowledge of practical skills, it's just heartbreaking. And so my cousin said to me last year, you know, I'm trying to get my kid in camp, but you know, the biggest thing for camps right now, I'm like, what, soccer? She's like, no. I'm like, ballet? She's like, no. Parents want their kids to learn how to cook. And I'm like, it's time.
Yes.
Time. So with that, it's just like, no, they're going to cook, they're going to knit, they're going to change a tire, they're going to learn money management. Yeah, so we're trying to do all at the same time.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Well, we got a good topic since it's back to school time. And,
yes.
And okay, just one other thing though, with your expo, what are adults going to be doing during this time?
That's such a great question. So the kids centers, we don't want this to be daycare. So we want the adults to, we also have like, if you've got young kids that are under 9, we have a full kids zone. So we will be there to entertain the kids, but the adults need to stay. We want the adults to be learning what the kids are learning, because when they leave, we need that reinforcement. You know, there's going to be like starter kits that they can purchase for their knitting or crocheting. We want the adults to follow up. If they're learning budgeting and they're learning entrepreneurial skills, we want the adults to follow up with them and to say, did you do that budget? I mean, this is one Sunday of the whole year. So we want the adults to stay there. This is like you're learning while they're learning, because you are their accountability partner.
Yeah, and it's between the events, like what's happening long term, week to
Exactly.
week, day to day, really. Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, did we lose you, sir?
Yeah, we keep losing
No.
your sound, Dr.
I
Vibe.
just said that we before we get into picky eaters, we're gonna talk about some comments here. So Frequency of Red Promotion says, "Hi, Carolyn. Good to see, and it's good to see you virtually." Dr. Tati says $5. That's a bargain.
It's a bargain.
And
We
God,
just want everyone to come.
Serena says they need to bring back home
They need to.
economics.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And Serena, I owe you an email.
Okay.
I saw your email, so I owe you a message.
No problem. Dr. Tati says hello to Frequency Event Promotions. Yeah, home ec. My gosh. And I think it's still being offered though in high school, but it's not a mandatory course, I think. I'm not sure.
I don't know that it ever was mandatory, but it's just not promoted the way that it should be. It's not encouraged the way that it should be. And like we're losing our practical skills. Kids don't even know how to write in cursive anymore. It's a lost art.
100%.
Curious, could the Morning Vibe possibly broadcast live from the event? I don't know, Dr. Vibe. If
I would love that.
Right?
I would love that. If you can make that possible, you do it.
Okay,
we'll take that offline and see.
We'll take that offline. I got pulled into something. What else is new these days?
I'm telling you, the whole world needs to know about this event because it's in Pickering, right? So not downtown Toronto. We are like trying to reach our local community.
Is it at the same place you had the last event or different?
Yeah, Chestnut Hill Recreation Center.
Okay, fantastic. And for those who are watching live in the replay, and I also shared in most of the comments, there's a contact information for Energy Shack Juice Bar, website, email, Instagram, Facebook, phone number. All right, it's all there. And people seem to be loving this idea because the comments are flying in. Serena says, it used to be mandatory many years ago. I think it's, quote, an elective, unquote, in high school.
Yeah.
And I remember going through that in grade 7, the home ec course. So
yes.
The fact that it has to wait till high school doesn't even make sense.
Serena says, yes, thank you. Can't wait to hear from you. And Dr. Tell you, look at Dr. Vi's face. Yeah, I get pulled into things like, I guess the price of being digitally out there. If I was physically out there, that'd be a whole other conversation. All right, let's talk about picky eaters. Not only young people, but adults. Where do you want to start with this?
Well, first, I guess I just want to be kind of clear as to where we're going with this is that here's the thing is that we can complain all we want that if you have kids, some people don't have kids and this session will still benefit you. But we complain, oh, my son won't eat anything or my daughter won't eat anything. They're super picky eaters. So a couple things, and we complain that our children are on the phone, our young people are on the phone, they can't get off. But the reality is we are too. Like we're picky eaters too. We're on our phones all the time too. So we are probably one of the worst examples for our children, not one of the worst examples, but we're not always the best example in food choices and in how we're spending our time and managing our time and managing our social media. They're following us. That's the reality. So
what's it? Do as I say, not as I do.
What's that?
Where is it? You try to tell them, do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
Don't watch me. Just do what I say.
Yeah, so if we can get ourselves in order, it really trickles down into our family. Yeah, I'll never forget. We used to do these picky eater seminars for the TDSB. So we'd do a whole dramatic play with the white blood cell, get the kids to make healthy choices and love why they should eat their beans and all of that. And then in the evening, like a week later, we'd meet with the adults and we'd do the same thing, but we would do it like PowerPoint. I'll never forget this lady coming up to me and saying, like, look at my son. He's 9 years old. He's so overweight. All he eats is pizza and French fries. And he was like super big. And I said to him, you don't like vegetables? And he said, no, I don't like vegetables. And she says, only pizza and French fries. And I said to him, you have a job? He says, no, I'm 9 years old. I said, you drive? You have a car? He said, no, I'm just 9. I said, how on earth do you get pizza and French fries all the time?
Right. You should have a
my
camera
mommy
on her
buys it
face.
for me.
Right. Catch that reaction.
So, yeah, the reality is that, you know, our kids' choices for most of the time is in our control. And you know, that's the reality. They're going to go out and eat with their friends, and especially as they get older, but their start, and like a healthy adult starts with a healthy child. So it's still in your control. It's still in your obligation. But what I want to show you today is that it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be a drill sergeant parent. You don't have to be miserable with yourself. But we do need to bring some discipline back in our own lives, and it will trickle down into our family. And if we could do that, I think the world's just a happy, healthier place.
Yeah, 100%.
There's that word. And Dr. Tati says exactly. So should we approach the conversation today aiming at adults, aiming at kids, or aiming at both?
So here's what I have on my notes, because I do make notes, believe it or not.
I know.
But I have like these 2 columns: adult, child. And
Good.
like, does this go across the board on both? So that's kind of how I'm addressing it today. So I have like 4 categories that I kind of want to address, and like planning, consistency, and then meals and rules.
Okay.
This sounds like a workshop. Go on.
Do you know
a workshop in the making. Where do you want to start? And I've got a lot of conversation pieces, but I'm going to let you do your stuff, and then I've got some conversation pieces to add on.
Okay, that's great, because I love it. And you know, we don't even have to get through all of it, because like we're good at part 2s, right?
Oh, beautiful.
So let's just let the conversation take its own form. But I think for the biggest thing, planning is the biggest key, because if we don't plan, we fail. And that's the reality. You can say, oh, this week I'm going to eat really well this week. The biggest trouble that we have, even as adults, is that we don't plan. So we end up doing takeout. And if we look at our bills for the month, like how much money we spend on takeout, it's crazy. I mean, you know, all of our conveniences of Uber and DoorDash, like there's fees attached to that. Like we put so much money down the toilet, and in this day and age we live in, we can't afford to do that. And there is a real science. The food science industry today is huge. It's where billions of dollars are put into it to figure out how much salt, sugar, and fat should be in food, not so that it doesn't create a heart attack, so that it makes you and I addicted. Like takeout food should not be the mainstay. So it's easy to say, I'm going to make healthier choices this week, but what's the plan? How are we doing that? So planning is important.
And then how far in advance would be a good time to plan? So if the week is coming up, is it Sunday, we're figuring out what's happening for the week, or should we have been planning out weeks ahead for the weeks to come?
Great question. So I would say, get your questions ready, Dr. Five.
I have 15.
Oh my God.
So it looks like we're going to do a part 2, so keep on going.
Get through 15.
So here's the whole thing about planning, and honestly, Ryan, that just leads me into my whole topic on planning is it doesn't have to be like this long drawn out plan, but like whatever day that is for you. Most people work Monday to Friday, but some work Sunday to Thursday, whatever your quiet day is. Look through a few recipes. Make the plan of this is what I'm cooking for the week. Write it down somewhere. And in my home, we don't have a lot of people people eating, so I can make one meal and it's keeping for 2 days. People are going to eat that for 2 days.
Right.
So make your plan, like just in your head, write it down if you need to. What is this week going to look like? And then you formulate your grocery list based on those meals, either that day or the next day. But you also have to plan in that week, when's my cooking day? Am I gonna cook this meal Wednesday, 2 meals Wednesday, another meal Thursday or Sunday? Look in your schedule, make your plan. Only you know your schedule, but you had, and you could tell me, I have no time. I'm working 2 jobs. Well, you have to take time to eat. So, there's some time in there. And it can be very simplistic, which we'll talk about next, but that's the idea, is that you're just taking one day, whether that's Saturday, you're going to think about what it is you're going to make. On Sunday, you get your groceries, you make your food Sunday night or whatever the case is, and now you're good to go for the week.
And have you seen any like really good meal planners that can prep meals for families that are really good, I guess, health-wise?
You're talking to the person.
Yeah, there's a few on the market, but there's always a compromise. I mean, you could do the chef's plate and all of those, but their sauces are going to have sugars and vinegars, and it's never going to be consistent. So that's for sure a better option. But I think we're overthinking this. I think we want everything convenient. That's still going to cost more than you going to the grocery store and buying a few heads of lettuce, your cauliflower, your chickpeas. And, for me, of course, we're a fully plant-based family. But for instance, this week, my plan is to make this sweet and sour cabbage with, a stir-fried rice with black beans. But I'm going to cook a bunch of black beans, and then my next meal is going to be black bean enchiladas. So I'm kind of using similar ingredients. So I'm not buying all these different things, so that I can kind of, use some similar ingredients without a huge shopping list, but I'm still making 3 different meals. And of course that takes creativity, but we can help you with that if you need it.
And nice.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here. Just a few things. You had mentioned, think about what you're going to do when it comes to your meal planning or preparation. I suggest people write it down, because I think you'll have more success if you write it down.
Agree.
Because if you keep it in your head, there's so many distractions going on. But
what did I say I was going to make?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's so many distractions. If you have it written down, that would be. I'm going to do a plug. Why don't you do a consultation with Carolyn to see what you need to do, and even hire her as an accountability partner.
Right.
I'm really good at that.
Yes.
I'll send you cooking videos that have passwords on it. The world doesn't have them. Only you do, because you're
there. You go. There you go. But I want to step back a little bit and ask, when it comes to adults and children, why do so many of us become picky eaters? What's the reasons? So
in my experience, the reason that we have become picky eaters is because we have, or someone else has allowed us to. We've been enabled to be a picky eater. So for instance, you growing up and you have broccoli for the first time and you say, I don't like broccoli. So mom and dad don't want to put up the fight, and they just stop giving you broccoli. Instead, they give you peas. And you grow up just saying to yourself, I don't like broccoli. I've never liked broccoli. Well, mom and dad might have tried it 1, 2, 3 times, but they just give up because we don't want the fight as parents. There's so many other things to battle. We don't want that kitchen fight. We want the mealtime to be enjoyable. And on Thursday of this week at 7:30, we have a free seminar with the Energy Shack. It's online. It's just on Zoom. And we're going to break down the actual tools that you can use. I'll share some here, but we don't have enough time to stop your kids from being full-on picky eaters. It's really easy. But one thing I want everyone to know is that your palate can be trained. Your tongue's a muscle, okay? There's taste buds on there. Your taste buds You lose them as you get older. So even though you didn't like broccoli when you were 5 years old, it doesn't mean you didn't lose your I hate broccoli taste bud when you're like 7 or 10. But we don't know because everyone around us enables us to stay in this picky place. And then you grew up with your own money, your own choices, and you just stayed there without expanding your palate because no one forced you into doing that. And so that's where you stay.
Gotcha.
You know what? I had that experience on the weekend. Someone had bought me a bowl with rice, veggies, green beans, and I said, okay, and there was soya sauce in it. And the soya sauce, oh my gosh. It just not did not settle with me at all. I said, no way. And I could taste the salt in it too. It just said, oh, my stomach just said, no, not like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah. Was that something you used to eat before?
No, I've never been a big fan of salt because of salty. Soy sauce is so salty. But I just said, and it just did not agree well with my stomach. So I hear. Let me ask, what role does sensory issues play in picky eating, and how can they be managed?
Yeah, so that's real. There's definitely some people just don't have trouble with textures, and the way that, and I mean, I have a relative, she has to touch her food, like physically touch it before she eats it. It's just a thing. And if you don't let her touch it, she can't eat it. Like, it's just a mind thing. So, pay attention to your children and just we used to scold her when she was younger and say, stop touching her food, but then she wouldn't eat anything. So, getting to know your kids. And so say, for instance, they hate hummus because it's blended and they just don't like that texture. Well, that doesn't mean they wouldn't like chickpeas. So, trying to also take that time and work with your child, trying to understand, what their issues are. And as an adult, as you grow, I got to tell you, I can't tell you how many adults I work with that say to me, but I don't like vegetables. Well, that's why we have high blood pressure, high blood sugar, cholesterol, and these issues today. So what's better? Like, you're a big boy or you're a big girl, just eat your vegetables. Sometimes we just have to tell ourselves that it's like, it might not be my favorite, but just have those vegetables and then eat your chicken. Like, just get rid of the frog, So I think even for us, even though it might not be our favorite, but we know it's going to do us good, we got to grow up. We got to just stop feeding the monster and do some things. And the more you do that, you train your palate. Before you know it, you love water, you love vegetables, right? I mean, Dr. Vibe, you're the biggest example, right? How much water did you used to drink before we met?
A little.
Not as much. I know.
Not enough. But like, anytime I'm going out, my bottle of water is the full bottle of water with me in the car. Even if it's for 20, 30 minutes, I make sure I drink off all that water before I come back in. So water has become part of my regular. It's core stuff. Drinking water is key.
Yeah.
But haven't you noticed that since you've been eating more vegetables, drinking more water, you crave it more?
Yes, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. So
that is true.
We think we don't want these things, but when you have them more, your body's like, yes, that's what I've been waiting for. And it calls for it and it craves for it.
Yeah. And one thing that stuck with me after the detox and the evening salad dinners.
Yeah.
So my wife, we were actually thinking of you over the weekend because she started She started growing lettuce and tomatoes. So in the evening,
part of the family.
Right? Yeah. We're able to pick our own salad and have that in the evening. So we're trying to become sovereign food, grow our own food, but we'll get there. But the tomatoes really took off.
Tomatoes. Oh, I love tomatoes.
Yeah, garden tomatoes are the best.
I love tomatoes with my veggie burgers. Tomatoes and veggie burgers rock. Rock. Just catch up on some comments. Frequently says, Carolyn, I would like to sponsor an aspect of your event. We attended the last one. You are building something that is better than good and nutritious. There you go. I like how it's said. Fitness IQ says, morning. Good to have you here. First Lady of ACBN, Charmaine Hussey says, valued points. My taste buds have changed indeed. Right. And Dr. Taji says, especially kids that are on the spectrum have sensory issues.
Absolutely.
100%. This is Dr. And yes, happy to have you here too, First Lady of ACBN, Charmaine. I'm going to let you continue on with your things that you've written down because I don't want you to leave anything away, but I got more things to ask.
Okay. So just to wrap up planning, one of the biggest planning is containers. So if you're planning to eat healthy for the week, or you want to do better with your budget and you want to make healthier choices, you're not really going to find healthy food on the road. It's always going to be compromised. So you do need to make your own meals. And part of planning your meals, getting the groceries, is have good containers that will hold your salads well. Have good containers that, your kids can take their meals to school. So make sure, most people's Tupperware drawer, you open it up, it's like, does this lid match? Yeah, make sure your Tupperware drawer is organized. You can just go in there and grab out the container and the lid. I mean, I'm not the most organized individual on the planet, but my Tupperware drawer, there's nothing in there that doesn't have a matching lid, and it's all lined up because I live for containers. Everything I make is like made by me. So that is important. And when you make a big batch of food, take some out and throw it in the freezer, portion it out, freeze it. Now, even if next week gets crazy, you're ready. This is important.
Yeah, preparation. Mignon Cam says Ziploc and Rubbermaid have mastered that. I wish Tupperware company kept up with that. All right. There you go. All right, I'll ask another conversation piece. What strategies can families use to encourage their kids to try new foods?
That's a great question. That leads me right up into my next topic.
Here we go.
Nice.
So consistency is the next point, and that's the biggest strategy. Okay. Yeah. So I really want us to understand that we have not just the right, we owe it to our children to give them the healthiest start in life. Okay. It's an obligation and a duty as a parent. You are not doing your child a favor by giving into their demands of, I don't want to eat vegetables, giving into their demands of, they want takeout all the time, they want dessert. You make them happy for a moment, but you're really creating a detriment for the rest of their life. And I'm not going to say that I'm like, the poster child parent, but I was very consistent with my kids when they were younger. We are eating a plant-based diet. There's no such thing as anything going to school except water. We don't do juice box. Oh, all my friends have a juice box. This house doesn't. Right. I'm sorry. Juice is a treat for once in a while. So that's my consistency. Whatever your consistency is going to be consistent and don't compromise. So that kids love structure and rules. They'll complain about it, but it makes them feel safe. It tells you they care. And now my kids are older. They're in their 20s. They're still eating plant-based. I let them eat whatever they wanted to on the street. Why did they choose the diet that we put them on when they complained about it all their little life? Because they know it makes them feel good, and they watch their body be different than other people's body. They didn't get the acne, they didn't get the big bellies. They were more athletic than their friends. They had more energy. They're noticing these things.
Exactly.
So be consistent. So whether you're saying that, you're going to get that dessert in your lunch once a week, don't compromise. Don't make these things a daily treat. It's only on Fridays you get a juice box, or the consistency is it's only water in your lunch, or we only do takeout on Saturday nights. Like, be consistent. You don't have to like take everything out of their life, but make it mostly healthy choices with small compromises, but be consistent with those compromises. Or if you go to the grocery store with them and you tell them, they can have one treat for the week, but you let them take 2 treats the next week and you're not consistent, they're going to bug you at the grocery store every day. You said 2, now I want 3. But if they know every week you go, you say it's just 1 treat, they'll stop asking you. They'll stop bugging you, right? And you owe that to your kids. They do like it. They'll act like they hate it, but they do like it.
Yeah, I love that. This is how we do things here.
This is how we do things here, and it's because I love you.
Exactly.
And give them that education. And that's another thing to sort of answer your question there, Dr. Vibe, is educate. I mean, I'm an educator, and of course my kids got they were like 15 and be able to heal somebody with cancer because they've heard me over and over again. But you can just give basic understanding that like you need this to build your muscles. You have to drink this water, or all the pollution that's in the world or the sugar that you got, it won't flush out. Like, give them little simple tips of understanding, because it shows that you're not just trying to be a drill sergeant parent, but it shows that you care.
Absolutely.
I always think about when driving around and you see the signs outside the school, public school, pizza lunch, and it shows you the day.
Yes.
And I'm going, could they serve something additional or different than, well, obviously pizza, but I just see that it's unfortunate. I don't think the public school system, again, we talk about the beginning about home ec, they don't have, or especially the public schools, teaching about healthy eating.
It's funny. I'm working with a new client, and he's like in his 20s, and he's just like a sponge, sopping up all this nutrition information for me, because he has a very chronic health issue, although he's super young. And he's like, why don't they teach this in school? Like, I must have heard that 10 times from him in like the last week and a half. And he's just like, I don't understand why I didn't learn this in school. This is probably the most life-changing information I've received. But the reality with all of this is that, we're in an age of information. If we turn this now back to adults need to be consistent too. We need to say, because you can pack your kids a healthy lunch, but you go to work and you order from the food court, or you Uber in your meals, or worse yet, you skip lunch and you come home and you pile it on a dinner. As adults, we need to be consistent too. And we need to say, you know what? I'm only doing takeout once this week. I'm only having that treat or that chocolate bar or whatever, once this month. We need to make rules for ourselves, and we need to be consistent with them as well.
Excellent.
Like it. Fitness IQ Camp says truth about public school. Shelton says maybe in the private school. I doubt it, but I'm not going to say that for sure. Minion Camp says I learned meal planning from family studies and my Girl Guide badges.
Oh, good.
Good stuff. Good
Girl
stuff.
Guides. What happened to those girls?
I think it's still around.
Yes, it is still around.
I know Scouts
Girl
is still
Guides
around.
and Boy Scouts.
Yeah, I know Scouts is still around. I associate that's very involved in the Scouts movement here in Canada. But yeah, I'll let. Okay, what are some common misconceptions about picky eating?
Some common misconceptions about picky eating is that I don't think parents have tried it enough or been consistent enough to really qualify somebody as a picky eater. Like, as it was said and rightly said in the chat, there are some kids on the spectrum or with different abilities and disabilities that they really have sensory issues when it comes to food. There's just certain things that they, isn't right. Most of our children are picky eaters because we've let them be. Like, of course, like when you're born, you have like 10,000 taste buds in your mouth. So, like what you think broccoli tastes like is not what a child thinks broccoli tastes like, because there's so much sensory going on.
Mm-hmm.
But as they say, oh, I don't like this, or I don't like these chickpeas. No problem. Just have two. That's all you have to have is two. Just have two. And next week, you bring it back again. Yeah, the rule is you're always going to try everything I make. And so you can then help to train a child's palate. There's no forced eating. I'm not asking you to eat a whole plate. Just have two. That's it. And the more you do that, the more you can train their palate. But we write off picky eaters as a picky eater because of preference. They're not really having sensory issues most of the time. And that's the big misconception. And even with us as adults, you say, I hate salads. I don't think you've had them enough to let your body start craving them. And then you'll realize, you know what? This is more than just a palate thing. I like how I feel after I had this meal. And you desire it more and more. So picky eaters is so much more than, just what we see on surface. And we give into that way too quickly.
All right.
And it's so easy when the two options is between a salad and oxtail and rice and peas. When the option is consistently salad, then it becomes like, hey, you know what? How do I make this better? And that's why, like, starting the garden.
Who are you talking about?
I'm just saying, I haven't had.
He's having an aha moment. Listen, Ryan's already planning his whole week. It's gonna have salad and rice and oxtail, and salad and jerk chicken, and salad and rice and oxtail.
But I'm picturing organizing the Tupperware now. That's I know what it looks like in the closet there.
Oh my goodness! So Dr. Tachi says #Oxtail King.
Thank you.
Minnie on Cam says you cannot tell me everything tastes like chicken.
Yes.
Minnie on Cam says oxtail can be good soup with some solid vegetables.
Yeah, and shout out to Laz Cuisine that makes the oxtail soup.
Oh, Laz Cuisine is a beautiful place. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. Beautiful place. And JG Mars has a very interesting comment. Public school systems and the contractors they employ are more profit oriented than you think.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are paid by the meat and dairy farmers to like put up those big signs in the school, like milk is good for you. It's you know what? It's unfortunately everything is fed by the mighty buck. It's a marketing campaign, and our children are unfortunately the biggest. They're being bombarded with marketing all through school and just reprogramming as to what the government and society and the big pharmas want them to become when they are adults.
It's somewhat really tough, but it's unfortunate that many of us are treated like a commodity.
100%.
Especially in the food industry, we're a commodity. We are bought, and when we don't align with the going thing, we got to pay a higher price.
Exactly.
But I'm confident that a shift can happen only because what I saw happen with electric vehicles, because Tesla's showing that it was a better path or it can be done. Then now all the automakers are like, you know what? That's the path that we have to go on. Same thing with healthy eating. If it can become a movement that the more profitable path is plant-based, and this is what schools are doing, you have to conform. The powers that be in the food industries will start to shift and say, okay, meat and beef isn't profitable anymore. We have to shift to what people are actually buying.
And it's happening, Ryan. There's many dairy farmers that have moved to almonds and moved to plant-based milks. I mean, that is a growing industry And you know, on this whole price talk, the reality is that many people think, you know, it's too expensive to eat healthy.
No, it
it's
isn't.
not.
No, it isn't.
It's not. You know what's expensive?
No, it isn't.
Yeah, Uber is expensive. Takeout's expensive. You know what chicken costs compared to chickpeas? Like, let's be real. You can make it expensive if you want to, but what it is it requires planning. It's not fast, quick, and easy. It requires discipline and planning, but it does not cost a lot of money.
And being intentional.
You have to plan, and you've got to be consistent.
Okay, so Fitness IQ Cam says, LOL, Oxtail King. Minion Cam says, too many times a tenant in my building will leave his unwanted food bank food in the lobby.
Oh, gotcha.
Dr. Tachi, when I was in elementary school, it was a Catholic school, when they really wanted you to go home for lunch, since we had to say we made our lunches, so they were always healthy. There you go.
Those were the good old days.
And then Minion Cam says, yes, the No Frills keeps moving around the location of plant-based milks. You know what, Minion Cam? I'm actually, the next time I go into a grocery store, I'm going to see where the healthy things are located compared to where the not so healthy. Like, of course, there's a lot of aisles that the non-healthy food is lower to the ground, especially for kids and cereals. It's easier for them to reach. So that's a really good point. That is a really, really good point. But yeah, the whole marketing syndrome, it's a crazy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Continue on, Miss Carolyn, unless you want me to give you some more questions.
Well, you're welcome to ask questions, or I can just bring it home to like making it practical. So like, what do these healthy meals actually look like?
But don't you have 2 more points? You said you had 4.
Yes. So we did planning, we did consistency.
Let's keep on going.
Oh, yeah. Well, so now we're gonna go into like food.
We do this.
Yep.
2 more comments. Dr. Tati says, I think we also need to consider the fact that it depends on the neighborhood you live in. In some areas of the U.S., there are no stores within a 2-mile radius that serve healthy options. Yes. So you are forced to take the cost of transportation, delivery, etc. Good point.
Yes. And Dr. Tachi, one thing that I think is missing from that is education, because I would agree with that. But there's also like, you could sprout at home. You could just have a few boxes, whether even if in the winter, you could grow your own lettuce. You can grow your own tomatoes year round. You can grow your own cucumbers year round. Like, these are some things, and that education is missing. And even on very small plots of land, or if you just have a balcony, you can grow so much, but that education is missing. And so we feel like we have to go and purchase everything. But for very, very little cost, you could grow so much in such small spaces.
Well, the conversation's rich as always. Fitness IQ Kansas Food Basics by Me, which is one of our grocery food chains. The plant-based is the first at the door, actually, beside the fruits and vegetables in the base. So that's good. That's good. Right. It says, yeah, plant-based aisles. He says the plant-based aisle is right once you come in, it's right there. But Minion Cat says they cut off the roots of green onion in some stores. Really? Wow. Okay. Continue on with the points. Go, Carolyn.
Well, I just want to bring it on the third point here is like, let's make it practical now. So what do these healthier options and healthier meals look like? And one big thing that I highly recommend is that if you only have time, like if your only time to plan is to come home and make dinner, get a little bit ahead of yourself. Make dinner, but don't eat it. Make dinner, and that while you're making that dinner, pack it up, and that's your lunch for the next day. One of the worst things that you could be doing is starving yourself all day, going on fumes, just grabbing a quick thing here and come home and pack it all on, because you make dinner and now you eat dinner. And what time is that really?
Right.
So grab yourself an apple for the evening, make dinner with the family and pack it up at that time for you to eat for lunch or even breakfast the next day. Try to eat those big calories early and you'll be ahead of the game. You know, with our kids, try to get them to take thermoses of food, leftover dinners, rather than, you know, just a sandwich or a bar or these Lunchables. Like, this is not healthy food and it's very expensive. Invest in a good thermos for your kids and get them to start eating warm food at lunch. And if they don't eat lunch, I mean, I have like 3 kids that are completely different from the other. One kid, it didn't matter what you gave him, he wasn't going to eat it. So when they come home from school, they're not having a snack. You're having dinner. I'm going to make sure that as soon as you're hungry and I can get all the food in you, you're having your dinner when you get home. That's also like, you know, just making it real practical. And always, whether you're packing your lunch for work, even if there's chicken or oxtail in it, have yourself a salad first.
Salad first.
Fresh
Salad
cucumbers.
first.
Yes. Get those mini cucumbers or baby tomatoes, or slice up some cucumbers for the kids. Get in their mind that they've got to have some fresh food before they jump into their cooked meal. And that's like part of consistency in meal planning. I'd like the whole world to eat plant-based, but if you're not going to, have a salad first, then have the main course, and try to have it at lunchtime. So when you come home, the evening's light. You know, that's important. And when the kids come home, they have their dinner at that time. That way the evening can be spent playing ball, playing a board game, going outside for a walk, just having something light for dinner.
Love that. And then did you want that to take us into the final point?
Yes, but I'm happy to take any.
I have questions.
Oh, go for
questions
it.
before
I
I
have
get into my
questions.
final point of here are some rules and guidelines I'd like you to keep.
Gotcha.
You know, oh, look at this. So Serena Will says, I live with a picky adult. It gets too much to be too much at a times.
Because his mama probably let him be a picky child.
Oh,
That's the problem. We let our kids be picky, but it takes it right through their adulthood. It's terrible.
I think I just thought about, what about the idea too, when you're shopping for healthy foods, bringing your kids with you?
Okay.
I do it all the time. I know it's a bit of a pain, but here's the secret, is that you tell your kids to go run through don't run, but go through the vegetable aisle, pick whatever vegetable that looks a little different and you guys come home and you cook it together. Get them excited about their vegetables. Like, what would be your favorite vegetable? You pick your fruit snacks for school. And like I said, you let them pick one treat. There should be only one treat in that cart. The people that checking you out should be like, wow, you're a healthy family.
Right.
Not like everything boxed and everything packaged. We've lost you, Dr. Vibe.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
It's so Mignon Cam says, this explains my younger brother eats vegetables. And Serena says, 50 years old and picky, boy, bye.
Wow.
Now, Carolyn, you work with people from all different cultures. Is this a challenge with some cultures more than others, or do you see it right across the board culturally?
So culturally, where it becomes more of a challenge is you see in a lot of East Indian cultures, they're definitely used to curried vegetables, but salad is like unknown. You know, they're just not used to that. They're very heavy carbs. So plant-based, many are plant-based, but they're used to the rice, the rotis, the curries with the vegetables, but it's all cooked food. And we can see, as we look at the different cultures, different rises of certain diseases that are caused from that type of eating. Our West Indian friends, they're not a stranger to salads, many of them, and their green vegetables, they love it. But unfortunately, they get very stuck on very heavy carbohydrate diet and heavy meats now. But that never used to be the West Indian culture. I mean, your grandfather or great grandfather, like meat was a special thing once in a while. But we have this mentality, I shouldn't say we, because I'm not West Indian, but the West Indian culture has this mentality that it's like that was because they were poor. Now I have money. Now, it makes you feel rich that you can afford the white man's meat. But please remember that when we go back to slavery days, when the white people were getting all the meat and getting all the sugar, they were dying their 60s, and the black slaves were living till they were 120 years old. They weren't eating the meat. They weren't eating the sugar. They were harvesting it and catching it for the white men that were dying early, right? But now we're all rich and wealthy, and we don't want to eat like, we're a slave. But that was the best diet. That was the best diet.
Okay. I want to shout out to Sylvia Davis, who has liked this conversation on Facebook. Very good. Very good. Yeah, this picky eater, Dr. Tachi, white man's meat equals white man's diseases.
What's happening? We're dying of all of that.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy. In regards to the picky eaters, have you seen people, well, you can use the example of your own kids, but do you see more and more people overcoming this mindset?
That's what we like. Before we opened the Energy Shack, I was a part-time nutritionist, and we were hired by the Toronto District School Board. Myself and my sister, we had a little business where we actually went school to school to show people how to transform their picky eaters. And I know that while the adults are listening, we were transforming them as well, because it's not just about kids. And that's what our show on Thursday at 7:30, we're going to give you all the tactics. But I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 kids it worked for. 9 out of 10 kids. Like, it was so successful, because when kids have the education and the right tools and rules in place, they love that you're helping them do something well. They love that. And they love that it's like, oh yeah, this wasn't so bad. And so, like, again, we think we're doing our kids a favor. I'm just reading the book, the truth about sugar, but it's like you think you're doing your child a favor because they're so happy when you give them that sugar, but they turn into a monster afterwards. They don't like how they're acting, and you don't like how they're acting.
Right.
So, but when you give your kid the vegetable, it's the opposite effect. It's a little bit of a fight at first, but it doesn't have to be a fight. But it's a little bit of a fight or a struggle at first, but they like how they feel afterwards. You like how they're acting afterwards. Like, it's so great. And so 9 out of 10 kids are not valid picky eaters and can be easily transformed. I'm going to give you all those tools and rules on Thursday.
I also want to ask, what are the potential nutritional impacts of a young child being a picky eater?
Well, you know what? I shouldn't say, I've never seen this in my career, because I've only been a nutritionist for like a good 12 years. I mean, I've been practicing without my official designation, but I've only
good 12 years. Okay, go on.
It's a good 12 years. But in my 12-year career, over the last 5 years, I have seen more diabetic children than in 12 years. Like, kids going into diabetic comas. Like, it's not okay. And it's not, yes, it's the food we're eating, but our kids are becoming less and less active. We're becoming less and less active. We were designed to go get our food. We were designed to go into the field, grow our food, and go get our food, not go to the grocery store, not get it delivered and sit down and eat. We sit, we eat, we sit. Might go to the gym for 30 minutes, maybe, but we're not active. And so all of this fat, sugar, and salt that's in our food, all of this meat that we're consuming, all of this, cholesterol that we take in, and we're not burning it, we're not going anywhere. Our food is toxic, our world is toxic, and we're not expelling. So we consume more calories than we put out. and our body is on a toxic overload, and our kids, because of all this device world, and gym is being cut out of school, and they're not walking to school anymore. They're busing or getting dropped off because we feel like, oh, my kid can't walk 20 minutes to school. That's so far. Somebody might take him. You know, we are enabling our children to create disease, not be properly independent. Yeah. Anyway, come to our Healthy Home Seminar.
Let's get to the fourth point. All right, let's get to the fourth point.
To wrap things up, I just want to talk about a few takeaway rules that that just really help to keep the planning, the consistency, and all of that. So number one, for adults, if I can tell you, because I've been talking a lot to kids, for adults, make it a rule in your life not to snack. Like, just take that out the window, okay? Drink water all day until you're hungry, okay? Don't put one almond in your mouth. Don't have that bag of trail mix in your desk at work. Don't walk by and just grab a banana and eat it randomly. Just stop doing that. Try to have your big meal at lunchtime or breakfast. And second, stop skipping breakfast. Put something in your mouth in the morning, whether it's just an apple or, you know, and a banana is not the answer.
I haven't had my apple yet, but it's sitting right here, by the way.
Yeah, try to, we need to get that metabolism going in the morning. Cortisol rises. It needs healthy proteins. It needs vitamin C. So stop doing this intermittent fasting where we fast all day. We finally eat a small meal and come home and crash and have this big meal and go to bed. So I know I put a lot of sort of rules in there, but I really want the takeaways for the adults is to plan, be consistent, stop doing the takeout, plan your meals, get the good Tupperwares, get your food in there, always have something fresh with every cooked portion you eat it in the day, and stick to meals, not snacks. Lots of water, heavy meal at lunch, and with your kids, send them with snacks, but make them healthy snacks, and try to keep your kids again, I mean, I know this is going live and I don't want to knock any companies, but all these granola bars and bear paws and there's no such thing as a healthy food that's coming out of a package. Not even your made good is made good. So those are treats for once in a while. And if you want some real, what can I do for snacks, for lunches and all of that, you've got to come to our free seminar. Go to the Eventbrite and just sign up for that. It's free. It's free. 7:30 on Thursday. I'm going to really break it down.
Wow.
Solid. That's excellent.
Fire.
You don't want to be my child, right? Or my husband.
Well, it was interesting. I was at a breakfast on Saturday, and I was chatting with this guy, and he's on a full protein diet, and he eats meat, and I said, come on, man, meat takes 48 hours to get out of your body. He goes, oh, that's not true. I'm going, what? Okay, you have your thoughts, I have mine. I'm just going, but he eats so much. And he said, I told him, guy, I used to be a heavy meat eater, but I haven't used my barbecue. I can't know the last time I used my barbecue to cook any meat. And I'm going, I even have a chicken to cook. I'm going, should I barbecue or should I oven? I'm thinking I'm going to go oven more than barbecue.
Okay, gotcha.
Before I'm cooking things now, I'm doing research, which is better. I actually went online and said, what's better to cook a chicken, on the barbecue or in the oven, and looking at comparisons. So that sort of research and being intentional on that, especially for our young people, because I agree with Carolyn, it behooves me. I'm seeing more and more obese young kids.
Yeah, problematic.
When we were growing up, we didn't see that many obese kids.
Yeah, but we were so active. We were riding our bikes. We were climbing trees. We were outside. We did not have devices. We were forced to use our imagination. And that's why, honestly, Technology is where it is because we have an imagination.
I agree with you on that, but the food products.
Oh, the food products is detrimental, but combine the bad food with the lack of exercise, and it's trouble.
You're seeing the ripple effect of that.
And the thing, it's going to be for many years to come, and it's taxing our health system, which is already taxed.
True.
Exactly.
Carolyn, as always, thank you. Anything else you want to add before? Because I know you must have another, because I heard the notification button, so something's coming up.
Yeah, it's okay. It's at 10:30. We've got 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes. We're going into the last part of the year. Last third of the year. It's coming up fast. Anything outside? Anything outside that you haven't mentioned today, just even in general, you want to talk about nutrition or any concerns that you're seeing that you want us to have a red light on?
That's a great question, and thanks for that. So, a couple things is that the reality is Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming, and whether you celebrate those things or not, you're going to be loaded. It's at the grocery stores. It's going to be in the office. People are going to bring in your house. So don't wait till January to make a decision. Decide today that, you know what, I'm going to have a little treat on this day or that day, but decide today that you are not going to put your health on the backseat throughout the month of October, November, or December. So make that plan and be consistent now of what your plan is.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's
and
good.
We do have in November, that's when our retreats start. So if you want a really good head start, you want to come away to Muskoka for 4 days or 7 days, and you want us to reset you, detoxify you, and help you heal, teach you how to cook, teach you how to do the natural remedies. Again, just go to our website and check out the retreats because we have an early bird special only until the end of September.
On that note, we're going to give you 2 minutes to breathe before you go into your next. Thank you as always. And I always love it when I see you chatting and all the green in the background.
Yeah, isn't it great?
Ryan, you want us to do a broadcast from what we need to do one day is go up there, even if it's for a few hours.
Okay, yes.
So you and I need to go up there, even if it's for a few hours, and just really experience that. And maybe if we can, maybe do an Instagram live from up there.
Right.
You gotta come in July when the blueberries are everywhere. That way you can leave with a pile of wild organic blueberries.
Well, I don't want to wait till July. I don't want to wait till July, and I want to go get there before snowfall. So,
right.
I don't want to be up there during the snow. Nada.
I said to come in July. That's next year, but you are welcome. The snow doesn't fall here until November. September and October are beautiful. I mean, I have there's 100 acres of forest here. So the fall colors are exceptional.
We got to do that, to do 100 acres of land, to be on that. That would be amazing.
It's amazing.
Okay, you've got a minute and a half. Bye.
Gentlemen and everybody, thanks for tuning in. Make wise choices, plan your meals, and be consistent. Your health matters.
Your health is your wealth.
Your health is your wealth, and if you need more help, just get in touch with me. That $49 is for you today.
All right.
God bless you guys.
Take care. Be well. Bye-bye. All right, there we go. And there it is. She did mention it. And that's been going on for a while. $49. And actually, I was speaking with someone over the weekend saying they just went to their doctor and things are up. And they said, I got to get in touch with Carolyn. So I'm keeping a watch on him. It's someone that you, Carolyn, and myself know, but I'm not going to mention his name.
Nice.
But it's someone all of us know. So I'm keeping a watch on him. I have my own watch party on him, by the way. That's what I'm going to put that way. So what's up for the rest of the week, man?
Just plugging away. We have the steering committee meeting for the Black Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Conference. Yeah. So that's coming up in October.
It's coming 28th. Up fast.
Right. And then this Wednesday, we're doing a session with Wolvio, which is an online Susu Podna platform. Okay. To do different hands. So we're helping people get rid of their payday loans. So if they need up to $2,000 to reset their bills, and with community lending, you can pay it off over time with the Susu. So this Wednesday,
payday, man, we well,
right?
but payday loans are a wicked thing.
Man, the spiral is very vicious. So Wednesday evening, we're going to be at the C Center for Young Professionals to do that session in person, and we'll stream it as well. But yeah, looking forward to just talking to see if people need that help, and we're going to get them the $2,000 to help with their bills.
Wonderful. All right. So as we roll out, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Get us up. Not as see if we can even remotely catch up to Indie Soup Media's 18K. But also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Advertise your business, product, or service. Email me dr.vibe@thedrbeshow.com. Join the Discord group. Email me. I'm going to put the link to the replay of this in the Discord group. Tomorrow night, September 10th, watch party. We're going to see if it happens. And just some final things, and I've put it in the chat. That's how you can get a hold of Ryan, RyanOneilKnight.com website, LinkedIn, Ryan Oneil Knight, Instagram @Ryan.Knight, and that's KNIGHT, by the way, 99 on Instagram. Email workwithme @RyanOneilKnight.com. There's all the places you can get a hold of me, the DRVIBESHOW.com website, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, the Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at the DRVIBESHOW, X/Twitter at DRVIBESHOW, and email. I've already said that enough times. Sorry. And all the places you can watch this live on replay. The Dr. Vibe Show, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, Afro Caribbean Business Network, Facebook, and Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. That is it. I don't know who we have. I'm not sure who we have on Friday. I'm going to quickly check to see. If not, there's a lot of things we need to catch up on. Right now,
True.
It's an open Friday, but we got a lot of things. I have some thoughts on TIFF.
Okay. Absolutely. We can definitely chat about that.
Yeah, and Serena says they have outlawed paydays loans in our areas, parts of Virginia. The interest rates are wicked indeed. All right. So that's good news.
And sir, I'll touch base with you soon. I got to jump into this 10:30.
No problem. We'll see you. All right. Take care. Best of the family. All right. Let's close it off. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher and wider. Love, faith, and respect. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourselves grace. Thanks for hanging out today, family. And lots of conversations going on. So follow the Dr. Vibe Show. Had a whole pile of conversations and replays coming up in the upcoming week. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith and walk good.